So I'd like to begin by mentioning that the American Airpower Museum here, they opened their doors in 2000. They've been supporting us every year. We started doing this ceremony in '97. They opened the doors in 2000, and they welcome us with open arms. And they do a great job of preserving the legacy of American sacrifices and in defense of our liberties. They have a number of World War II aircraft here at the museum, some of them which are flyable. I think they're Avengers flyable, the DC-3. Anyway, Larry Starr may mention that to you. Would you please welcome the operations manager for the museum, Larry Starr.
Good morning, and on behalf of the American Airpower Museum, the president, Jeffrey Kleinman, board of directors, and our volunteer staff, welcome to the museum today. You know, when you look at the history books, any history books will say that World War II started on September 1st, 1939, the day that Germany invaded Poland. In truth, we can honestly say that it wasn't until December 7th, 1941, that World War II actually started, because you can't have a world war without the United States being involved. And up until that day, the United States was determined to sit on the sidelines, watch the Europeans battle amongst themselves, watch the Asian nations, Japan and China, battle amongst themselves. But when you mess with us, you start a world war. And it was on that day, the next day, on Monday, December 8th, that there were lines around the block in front of recruiting offices across the country. And many of these gentlemen sitting next to us, who became to be known as the greatest generation, were responsible for our freedoms, for us sitting here today, being able to talk about our past and our history. We're surrounded by history. For instance, this B-25 bomber that you see over here is the oldest B-25 bomber in existence. It's the oldest flying B-25. It was the first B-25 accepted by the Army Air Force in 1942. It was 1941, I'm sorry. It was also among the same group of aircraft that were selected for the first attack on Japan by the Doolittle raid in April of 1942, when America showed Japan what they had in store for them, when 16 of these B-25s took off on the deck of an aircraft carrier and flew to Japan and left their mark on the island for the first time, and it wouldn't be the last time. So it's the mission of the American Airpower Museum to remind Americans and everybody what we stand for, what these gentlemen and their comrades did and sacrificed, some of them sacrificing, giving the last measure of their devotion for America. And we're here to honor them, and we'll continue to do so as long as we are able to and as long as you let us. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks, Larry. Under his direction and leadership, the Suffolk County does an outstanding job of supporting veterans who have sacrificed and risked so much for our country. With the largest veteran population in New York State and among the largest of any county in the country, he is committed to providing the best possible support from educational opportunities, health and medical services, and employment services. On a personal note, I know that clearly this man holds veterans close to his heart. Would you please welcome our Suffolk County Executive, Ed Romaine.
Thank you. As a nation, all that we have, we owe to our veterans. We all owe them an eternal debt of gratitude. Our freedoms today don't come easy. They come because of the sacrifice of others who put on the uniform of this country, who defended our flag and the liberties inherent in this nation. Thank you to the veterans. Whenever you see one, please say, thank you for your service. It is to them that we owe our gratitude to them for the existence of this country and our freedoms. May God always bless our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you, County Executive. Under his leadership and the director of the Nassau County Veteran Service Agency is here with us today. He has demonstrated his unwavering support. This guy is a rock star in my mind, and if you live in Nassau County, everybody knows Ralph. He is a retired fireman and certainly a good friend of our association. And would you please welcome Ralph Esposito, the Nassau County Veterans Service Agency Director.
Good afternoon, everyone. Excuse the voice. I'm not only a Vietnam vet, 9/11 survivor also. Thank God. I just want to say, please, I want to say thank you to the Air Force Association. Really, if it wasn't for them, we would never have any of this. With the medals for the Vietnam vets, the World War II, anything they do it first class. And thank you to the greatest generation, these men right here on my left, that served in World War II. It wasn't for them, we'd be speaking either Japanese or German. So thank you, gentlemen. God bless you. And I can't thank you enough. If you ever need anything, my office is available 24/7. My phone is on for veterans, always. I want to thank you and thank the people that came today to honor Pearl Harbor, those that gave their lives, made the supreme sacrifice. Again, thank you all. God bless you all. God bless you, gentlemen, and God bless America.
Like I mentioned before, the Air Force Association is our job to support our Air Force family. Our Air Force family here on Long Island is the 106th Rescue Wing, Air National Guard unit out in West Hampton Beach. They are 1,200 or so personnel, come from all walks of life. They're carpenters, they're mechanics, they're lawyers, they're doctors. And they are routinely deploying around the world in support of our national security interests. They unifies the HC-130 brand new J models now, and they fly brand new helicopters, the H-60 Whiskey, the W. So with us today is the Wing Resources and I call him the IG. I lost my place here. He's the Wing Director of Compliance and Resolutions. Please welcome Lieutenant Colonel Peter Papadrea.
Good morning, distinguished guests, fellow service members, veterans, the people who orchestrated this remarkable event, and everyone else here who is honored to stand before these heroes and commemorate the dropping of the Rose Memorial Ceremony. It is an honor and privilege to be here. This generation, quoted as the greatest generation, has fostered some of the most vibrant people in history. Older family members of mine would often remark to me about the good old days of Rocky Marciano, Frank Sinatra, C.S. Lewis, but also quoted an era of unwavering bravery and sacrifice. When I told my son about the speaking engagement, who's here in the audience actually, he asked me why this specific generation was called the greatest generation. It was a seemingly straightforward question to answer. However, there are hard foundational truths associated with that answer. This generation faced countless hardships. Born into the Spanish flu, massive poverty, food shortages, and the Great Depression that caused immense economic instability, it was a hard time to be in America. These things alone would often make a person feel despair, sorrow, and heartache. Motivation to succeed came from a willingness to survive. However, when the time came to face a global evil, these men and women whom we are standing here to honor prevailed. They entered military service to uphold humanity's sanctity for all people. These brave, valiant people had a resilient mindset often not seen today. Words such as sacrifice, Unity, humility, and respect were not punchlines, but a way of life. Their defeat of Nazi Germany, Fascist Italy, and Imperial Japan, and the ultimate success of World War II come with a get-it-done attitude with a refusal to complain in the face of hardship. This spirit was proven in the ruthless, chaotic, deadly battles fought on foreign soil. We should strive to embrace the attitude, professionalism, and work ethic these veterans showed during that time. They have paved the way for the rest of America by setting the standard for service and honor. As we take part in the ceremony, we honor and remember that this generation labeled as the greatest will never be forgotten. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you. The Navy Reserve Center in Long Island is right here in Farmingdale. They are responsible for the mobilization and demobilization of Navy reservists and supporting their families while their soldiers, their sailors are deployed. They came on board with us here, I guess it was in year 2000, and they added an extra flavor to the whole event since it was the Navy focus, Pearl Harbor Day. Again, Commander, thank you for your support, ongoing support. And would you please welcome Commander Heidi Danucci to come forward.
Good morning, and thank you for being here to commemorate this solemn occasion. In the early morning hours of December 7th, 1941, the destroyer USS Ward DD-139 was conducting a patrol near the entrance to Pearl Harbor. At 3:57 a.m., she was informed of a periscope sighting by the coastal minesweeper USS Condor AMC-14, matching that of a Japanese submarine. USS Ward sprang into action as her #1 gun crew fired a shot that passed over the submarine's conning tower. The crew of Ward's #3 starboard side gun fired next and landed a direct hit that caused the Japanese submarine to sink. This event in the early morning on December 7th was unique in two ways. First, the USS Ward's fight with the Japanese happened several hours before the Japanese attack at Pearl Harbor. Second was that the crew of the #3 gun on USS Ward, who made the direct hit on the Japanese submarine, was made up entirely of Navy reservists. With these opening salvos, the reserve sailors on board the Ward became the first Navy personnel to see action in World War II. Over the next few weeks, thousands of men and women joined the Naval Reserve. Its sailors participated in every major campaign of the war. They served on surface ships, submarines, as aviators, and Seabees. Naval Reserve nurses cared for sailors and Marines at home and on the battlefield. 5 future U.S. presidents served as Naval Reserve officers during World War II, and 15 reserve sailors received the Medal of Honor for his heroic actions. When the United States entered World War II, 45,000 reserve sailors were serving on active duty. 4 years later, more than 3 million reservists were serving, comprising 84% of the total force. 84 years after the attack on Pearl Harbor, all U.S. Navy, U.S. Coast Guard, and U.S. Merchant Marine vessels transiting Pearl Harbor continue the tradition of manning the rail as a way to honor the lives lost in the attack. A ship passing the USS Arizona Memorial renders honors by sounding "attention," and all hands topside render a hand salute until the ship has passed the memorial and carry on is sounded. I had the privilege of taking part in this honor for the first time in 2006 as a midshipman on board USS Chaffee, and again in 2009 as an ensign aboard USS Lake Champlain, CG-57. As a commanding officer of Navy Reserve Center on Long Island, located right here in Farmingdale, New York, as Bill said, I'm responsible for the mobilization readiness of 250 Navy reservists, the majority of whom live and work here on Long Island. Since the Navy Reserve was established in 1915, it has provided essential naval warfighting capabilities and expertise strategically aligned with mission requirements, valued for our readiness, innovation, and agility. I'm proud to share that my reserve sailors represent the fighting spirit of the Navy and carry on a legacy of service to their country, just as those Navy Reserve sailors did aboard USS Ward and all other Navy Reserves who have come before them to defend freedom and democracy around the world. Thank you to all those who made today's ceremony possible. We greatly appreciate the time and energy you put forth so we may honor our past. And thank you all the veterans in the audience. Thank you for your service.
Finally, I'd like to introduce Tom Daly. He's a great, hell of a pilot. Like I mentioned before, his involvement dates back to 90, so he's been doing this for, 35 years? And anyway, thanks again for the Sky Typers. They've been doing this since 1984. Tom Daly, one of their pilots.
Excuse me. Well, thank you. I have the honor today of introducing the flight crew that will deliver the roses. But in years past, they stand against the door. I'd ask them to come forward, please. Please, Mike and Mike. Both of us. Take a spot so they can get out to the airplane more quickly and not have you freezing while the doors are open. So I thought I'd put them on the spot this year a little bit. The pilot for today's flight is retired Lieutenant Colonel Mike Brocky. Born and raised on Long Island, he spent 20 years in the Air Force flying the T-37, T-38, T-34, and the F-15 fighter jet. Mike saw combat time over the skies of Iraq, supporting the no-fly zones. He also deployed to Qatar for 12 months. His military decorations include the Air Force Aerial Achievement Medal, the Meritorious Service Medal, and the Bronze Star. He is currently a member of the Sky Typers demonstration and skywriting team flying the T-6 Texan. He also, as a side job, he flies for a major airline, flies 737s, based out of New York. Mike Brocky. Deploying the roses from the rear seat is Mike O'Leary, also from Long Island. He was sworn into the Navy Reserves by his dad, who was a Mustang, at the age of 17 years old. After a 7-month tour in the Mediterranean, he put in for transfer, volunteering for duty in Vietnam. After survival training school, he was transferred to the River Assault Flotilla, Flotilla 1 in the Mekong Delta. It is labeled the Brown Water Navy. Mike arrived in Vietnam at the age of 19 years old. Their mission, the Wolverine Warfare, by the way, which hadn't taken place since the Civil War, their mission was to insert infantry along the rivers in search of the Viet Cong. Mike returned home at the age of 20 years old. For his efforts in military combat, he received the National Defense Medal, the Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal, Vietnam Service Medal, the Vietnam Campaign Medal, and the Navy Commendation Medal of Valor. One of 4 brothers, all 4 enlisted at the age of 17 in the Navy. All became police officers in the police department on Long Island, so continued service for sure. And when he worked undercover, he probably was the most decorated undercover narcotics officer in the history of the department. His son currently serves in the military and has served 4 tours between Iraq and Afghanistan. These men walk quietly among us, and we don't pay a lot of attention to all our veterans, but they are true heroes. I ask for a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you all for coming today, and God bless America.
Thank you, Tom. I failed to mention one of our honored guests, 104 years old, Mr. Critelli, Dominic Critelli, he's always blowing his horn. Literally, he plays a saxophone, and he was playing with the band earlier today. 104 years old, Mr. Critelli.